And I thank you all for coming. I'm not very accustomed to public speaking. Janet is far more accustomed than I, but I have made a couple of speeches. I made a very memorable speech on the 25th of November last year when I rambled on for quite a while, and Janet let me ramble on for quite a while, and I think she eventually wondered if she should make me stop. I think she eventually did make me stop before I got to pop the question. And when I did pop the question, her response was, and I quote, So, due to that, we're here. So, it's been a kind of a long. Janet and I have known each other for years. Even when Gordon stayed in a flat with me briefly in university, and Janet would come in with soup and things, I think. And we kind of lost touch, I think, after uni. But I think it was when I became ill a few years ago, Janet got back in touch, and I think just we used to go out for lunch occasionally and became good friends, and then we became very good friends. And then we moved on from being very good friends to being more than friends, and then we thought that we would move on from being more than friends. So so there are a lot of people we should thank. Thank you to our long-suffering mothers, I think. I think we're both gaining wonderful mother-in-laws. Thank you to our respective siblings as well for their support. I think again we're gaining brothers and sisters-in-law. This day was a long time coming, really. And when we began planning, and we fixed on the 3rd of July, and that was of course before COVID came along, and then for those months, really March, April, May, June, we didn't know if we could marry or when we could marry, so it was very uncertain and very hard. And then when we eventually moved into phase 2 and we could marry, but we couldn't register in time for the 3rd of July, so we picked the 31st, because it was in the school holidays, and because we phoned Calamian, who had been out minister for the 3rd of July, and he was available on the 31st of July, so that's really why we picked the 31st of July, not knowing what we could do or what phase it would be or where we could have it or anything really. So when we moved into phase 3 and we were looking at what to do, it was so hard. There were so many hurdles. There are people who we would like to have been at the wedding who weren't at the wedding. My niece Alison, of course, wasn't at the wedding. A bridesmaid is in quarantine after coming back from Spain. And there were just so many hurdles. Finding a venue was a hurdle. Couldn't even sing at the wedding. There was just so many little things that we were just finding so hard. So we eventually decided to postpone. And because we were just so tired, I think, of it all. And then this happened, and it really was a bit miraculous, really. I got a couple of messages this morning saying, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it and be glad." We had no concept a week ago that this would happen. So it really is miraculous the way it's just all come together. From a meeting on Monday, and then the offer of possibly using Braga, and then we looked at that, and Monday evening I phoned Calamian to ask if he might be available, not thinking he would be available, and he was going to be in Skopje anyway, so he was very willing to come over to Braga. And then bit by bit we phoned a photographer. He was more than willing and was very helpful and able. On Wednesday night we phoned, and on Thursday there was a marquee up here. We phoned the park and they said they would deliver food, and bit by bit everything just came together in 3 or 4 days. Janet has done an amazing amount of to bring it all together as well, and I don't think we can really believe it, can we? So it's really miraculous, really. Who have I to thank? Calamian for being so willing and so accommodating. Thank you to our best man, Don, for all his work and live streaming, etc. Derek for his ushering. Thank you to Joe for being the bridesmaid. Who else? The people who've provided the food, and the Gress Angling Association for providing the marquee. Sorry.
Sing?
Ian McKinnon, yes, Ian for helping with the singing. Who else? Any others? Probably lots of others. All of you just for coming and supporting in various ways. So I think we're both just astonished. Somehow, from a few days ago, we had no concept of this happening at all. So I'm not quite sure how it has. I think that's all really I have to say, but thank you all for coming, and for being a part of the day, and thank you one and all. My best man has graciously recorded a speech. So